I want to talk to you about the two things that I do that has helped me and helped other brands create 1,000 videos this year so far. And that is batching and repurposing. So those are the two things that we're going to talk about in this video, batching and repurposing. Now, I'm going to address two different types of customers here, coaches and home service companies. But I want you to take a step back and listen to the things that I'm about to say, because those two companies, those two services, they're B2C services. If those two services are not within the industry that you are in, I want you to take those industries out and insert your industry in and see if it makes sense that you do this in your industry if you're looking to increase the volume of videos that you want to create, the volume of marketing pieces that you want to create, the volume of static content pieces that you want to create. I think that you can always extract different things and insert what you're doing into the topic whenever a certain industry or company is dropped. And that really, that's something that I do, is like, how this thing that they're talking about, it doesn't necessarily relate to me, but how can I apply it to my path? How can I apply it to my life? Will it work for my life? It's taking these disconnected pieces of information and bringing them together to try to make it functional to work for you. But I think that batching and repurposing will work for you no matter what industry that you're in, no matter who your customer is. And I'm really excited to share this with you because I have created over 1,000 videos this year between my brands and the brands that I work with in starting video content, starting to get into video content and growing with video content and marketing strategies. Super excited for this topic. So I think, like, when people look at video, they see these other people creating a short every day. And I think that's a good content strategy. Focus on the shorts to build long-term, to build an audience quickly, and then start to incorporate longer form videos or core content videos into your marketing content mix when it comes to video marketing. But doing a short every day isn't for everyone, especially if you're new to video or if you're just getting started on video. We talked about why you should get started. We talked about how you should get started. And now let's talk about what you need to do to optimize the time, to compound your time while you're getting started with video. There's a lot of different stuff I want to cover. I'm really excited because I'm just so passionate about creating video. I love the opportunity to connect with a customer. And that's one of the values of video. I think utilizing video is the second best way that you can connect with your customer base, that you can continue to build rapport with your customer base or your audience. Audience and customers, they're the same thing in my opinion. So utilizing video is the second best way that you can get your brand, your personality, your excitement, your passion, your enthusiasm, your emotion, get that in front of your audience and start to build an audience, build a connection, build a relationship with your audience. Right now, your audience is they could be in that research phase. If you know what the buyer's journey is, it's this never-ending infinity loop of research. There's a lot of different things. I'm not going to go into it, but there's research, moving forward, buying, repeat business. In a nutshell, that's what it is. And you can break that down even further into different components. But when you're just getting started, people are getting to know you. And they're getting to know you through video because they can see you. They can build a relationship. The number one way to build a relationship is always going to be in person. But I think like having a face on a video, you can really build a relationship, especially if you're in a coaching business. If you want to connect with other people, the second best way that you can do that is to share videos. But taking this mountain of overwhelm when it comes to video and just breaking it down into itty bitty little steps and then focusing on the next step. And that's what batching happens. That's where batching comes in. And going back to these content creators creating a short every day, I'm glad you can do that. I'm so glad you can do that. I don't have the time to do that. And that's why I utilize batching as a way to compound my time. One of my clients, Justin Janowski, just dropped a podcast episode talking about the power of immersion. And I think batching is a secondary level of immersion. He talked about being so immersed in your business, so immersed in the day to work on this key component of your business that nothing else distracts you. And that's similar to what batching is. It's an immersion of time to focus on the key component of building video content. So when you're getting to get started in batching, there's five things that I have found that have helped when it comes to batching content. Number one is research and ideation. By the way, if you're good with video and you're kind of past that, then feel free to skip this part. And also, like, batching is like time blocks, right? It's immersion. It's a undistracted time block. I need to focus on creating some video content. I need to focus on creating value for my customer. I need to focus on creating marketing pieces. I need to focus on prospecting. I need to focus on my website. So it doesn't just have to be marketing content or video content. Maybe it's an undistracted amount of time that you focus in on a key component of your business. That is batching. It's time blocking specific areas. But I'm talking about video content in this and batching video content. So the five steps that I've realized systemized for video content is number one, research and ideation. Now, when I was a director of marketing for a home service company, this is how we went through the script writing process. When we wanted to build valuable content series called Now You Know, which broke down certain components of a home and gave valuable information and helped educate people on these components. For example, one of them was, what was it called? It was called an air conditioner heat pump. So we just started rolling out some heat pumps and to help educate the customer on what a heat pump is and why it looks like an air conditioner. We developed this process. We started with research and ideation. What are all the research components that we can gather for a heat pump? What are all the components that you can gather for a topic of information? What are the service areas that you can provide? How can you take one of those service areas, extract it from the list, and figure out what are all the research points, the key points, ideation points? Where would you like to go with this topic? How can you just put everything on paper, make it unrestrictive? Don't restrict yourself in the creative process while building research and ideas for this video topic. I find that when you restrict yourself, you start to second guess yourself, because now you're looking at like, oh man, this is a great idea, but I can't go about it. Well, you can. Anything you think of, you can execute on. It's just finding that journey of execution to the way how you see it in your brain. So I kind of fumbled over my words there. Anything that you can think of, you can film. Anything that you think of, you can take action on. It's just, here's your thought, here's the idea, right? And then you have to build the journey, build the map, build the guidance on how you go from ideas to thoughts to the finished the finished copy, the finished thing, the finished video, the finished shot. And then you have to look at, well, you know, when you get into the second thing, script building, here's where you start to peel back some of your ideas, some of your research. Here's where you're going to really get into the meat of the product. What is going to be beneficial for the end user? What's not going to be beneficial? Oh man, this idea would be so awesome. It would be so much fun to execute on this idea, but time constraints. Here's where you peel back the ideas. Here's where you narrow in on your list. So number 1, research and ideation. Number 2 is script building. Now, I think that the more authentic you can be on video, the better relationship, the better connection you can be. So having, if you're a coach, being a little imperfect is not a bad thing. You should be comfortable with imperfection, especially as you're starting off as a new coach creating video content. You want to get those reps in, and you're gonna be imperfect. You're probably gonna suck when you start off, and that's okay because everyone sucks when they start off. I still am not great on video, I don't think, for this channel. I feel a little awkward sometimes, and that's okay because I know that the 50th video I do is going to be nothing like the first video I do. I'm just going to continue to get better. I'm going to continue to get those reps in. I'm going to continue to share the value that I have inside of me for you, the audience. And the same thing is going to happen for you. You're going to continue to share the value that you have. Now, this is getting your reps in. You're going to get better, not only at video, but you're going to get better at talking about what you do to the people that you're talking to the people you're trying to connect with. And that's super exciting. I think it's so exciting to utilize video to create those connections and build value and just help people continue on their path or help them move a couple steps forward on their path by sharing what you have to offer. And then talking about how you can help them as a coach. How, I do this with my clients. I do Little C coaching. We do 60 minutes or 2 60-minute sessions every month. And they come to me with questions, whether it's video content or marketing strategies or understanding the customer or looking at an idea and they don't know how to execute it. I look at these things from a high perspective and I give them insights. Or if they have the funding, if they're able to move forward with having me take care of video content, I do this with other clients. I go in and we do a marketing day and we batch record as many videos as we can in that one day with coaches or solopreneurs or realtors. We batch as many videos as we can in that one day to take care of the next quarter's worth of content. Now, we do this with home service companies, but we're not looking at a day. We look at a week. So we go in and we record as much video content as we can within a week's worth of time and capture that for the next 3 or 6 months. This is how we're compounding time with batching. It starts with research, moves forward to script building, and the third one is recording. And actually, let me go back to number 2, script building. Script building, it doesn't have to be word for word. If you're a new coach, if you're a coach, if you're getting started, you know all the stuff in your head, you know all this content, but I don't think scripting word for word is going to help humanize your brand and make you come off as authentic. I would bullet point, but that's just my opinion. And if scripting works better for you, reading off a script is going to be better for you to get started, then get started with scripting word for word. But I think bullet pointing is going to make you a little bit more authentic. It's going to make you a little bit more genuine. If you mess up in your video, that's okay because done is better than perfect. And here's the thing with perfect. And I've done this with personal experience. If you Chase perfection. You'll always be chasing perfection because there's always going to be something that you see that doesn't look perfect. And if you continue to tweak it and make it perfect, well, now 2 decades have passed and you're still working on this project, tweaking it and trying to make it perfect. You will never hit perfection, and you have to be comfortable with being imperfect. The way to perfection is to getting those reps in. Now, let me say that differently. The way to mastery is repetition. Getting those reps in, continuing to take what you liked from one video, apply it to the next, and whatever you didn't like in that other video, just leave it there. But you still have to post it because you have to get those reps in. The key to mastery is repetition. All right, I'm going off on little tangents, but that's okay because that's kind of who I am. I go off on tangents sometimes. I've accepted that. I've accepted that as part of my personality. And I'll make sure I put it in the timestamp so you can skip it if you want to. Number 1, to batching. Research ideation. Number 2, script building. Either that's starting off word for word or bullet pointing topics and then just kind of navigating those bullet points. Number 3 is recording. Now, when it comes to recording, you don't have to look at the camera all the time. I'm just not making all, just like staring in at the camera. I have notes. I have notes that I'm looking at. I'm looking at other things. It's okay. You don't have to, 100% eye contact is kind of awkward. So if you have to look over at your notes, that's fine. If you have to take a drink of water because you're parched, that's okay. Go ahead. You can edit that out if you want to. I dribbled some water on my desk. I might edit this out. It's distracting me. So it's okay. That's part of you getting those reps in. You're not only getting the reps in of sharing your content, sharing your value, but you're getting the reps in on what works for you. Bullet pointing, where your bullet pointing is going to be. Do you have 2 monitors? Do you have 4 monitors? Do you have 3? Do you have 5,000 monitors? That's too many monitors, actually. Way too. If you have 5,000 monitors, too many monitors. I think 4 monitors is too many. I've been there. It's like, oh, I got 6,000 tabs open. Where was I? True story right there. But you're getting the reps in. You're getting the feels for how you want to interact with your video, how you want to interact with your content. Recording. If you mess up, it's okay. Just continue to move forward. You can edit that out. And that's the next step. Number 4 step is editing. Now, there's a lot of different editing programs out there. There's a lot of free editing programs out there. Start with what you're comfortable with, and you can always progress from there. I use Premiere Pro. That's just what I've used for the last 10 years. It's really difficult for me right now to switch to something like DaVinci Resolve, which is a comparable program to Premiere that's free, but the time that it would take for me to sink into that learning curve, right now, I don't have that time to do that. However, an idea that I've had is if I batch my education when it comes to DaVinci Resolve, I'm sure over a period of time, I could get there. But right now, I use Premiere Pro. There's a ton of other different editing softwares, and they're all basically the same thing. There's a trim, a cut, and transitions. And then you can sprinkle it, like the most basic thing to editing is trimming, cutting, and then transitions if you want that. And all editing softwares have the ability to trim, cut, and insert transitions. Don't get crazy on the transitions. That I was like, dude, what are you doing with these transitions? Well, I don't know. Transition should be, a good transition is at the beginning, at the end. Be careful with transitions in the middle. I'm not a huge fan of transitions when it comes to the middle, like, fade to black in the middle and, just disrupting the flow. Another tangent. I'll mark that down. All right, so the 5 things to batching, the process of batching. Number 1, research, ideation. Number 2, script building or bullet pointing. Number 3 is recording. Number 4 is editing. And number 5 is scheduling. So when I'm batching, I time block. Okay, I'm going to research and create ideas for when I'm going to record. So on Monday mornings, I focus on batching ideas and scripting. So I kind of batch these two components together. On Thursdays, I focus on recording and editing. And then on Fridays, I focus on scheduling. The cool thing is, once you get into the rhythm of batching, you're going to be able to kind of scrunch these things together or increase the amount of time, and then you want to capture as much content as you can in that batch time. And this puts you ahead. This is how I've created 1,000 videos in a year. This is how we do a quarter's worth of content for coaches. By batching, we record as much as we can. We prep, we plan with the topics beforehand. We plan the scripts beforehand. I work with the client, and we do all this planning because it starts with planning. And then we go in and just batch an entire day. They take an entire day, set aside an entire day for recording purposes. And then I bring it back and I edit it, and then we schedule it. And now I'm working ahead a quarter or 5 months ahead with content that's scheduled out. And this is a huge relief. This is a huge relief for not only the client, but also for my own personal experience. I have content that's scheduled out for a few months on one channel. I'm building more content with another brand. We're partnering together, and we're batch recording podcast episodes. We're going through topics. We have our notes for each of those topics. We have a conversation on those topics, but we're filming 5 episodes at a time, and then we're going to be able to schedule out. I mean, right now, if we dropped a podcast episode, we would have 20 weeks worth of podcast episodes. Now, maybe that might be a little extreme. Oh, so extreme. How come you're not starting? Well, I'm working with several different brands, so there's a lot of things, there's a lot of moving parts going on. So as I'm working through this batching process, I'm also figuring out the systems to best batch for the brand I'm working with. That seemed like a tongue twister. I should add that as a tagline. Go through each step of the batching process, and I see what the time length is. I'm probably gonna make repurposing a second video, but that was a side topic. Batching is gonna help remove that stress. It's gonna be a little bit tight getting into the system, getting into the routine, getting those reps in. But once you have that in place, once you have this system of batching in place, it's a lot easier to record a lot of content, as much content as you can, per your content strategy, and then schedule it out. And then when you see, I have 2 weeks of scheduled content, why don't I batch record and try to get another 2 weeks? Why don't I batch record and try to get another month? Why don't I batch record and get a quarter's worth of content? If you need help with this, if you need help batch recording or figuring out how you can get started in video, if you need help, if you're looking for someone to record videos for you, with you, you're the master of your subject. If you're looking for someone to help guide you in recording video content, if you're looking for someone to take care of editing for you, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Reach out through my email. I'll have my email in my description. Let me know how I can help you. I would love to have a conversation with you about where you're stuck with and what you're doing and how I can help you take this disconnected information and bring it together, help you bring it together, connect those dots for you, help you get to the next dot, help you connect the next dot, help you a little bit further on your path. I want to be able to help you as best I can, whether that's a 45-minute conversation where we talk about what you're going through and what your struggles are and what the roadblocks are or where you need to get started, or if that's us partnering together and you hiring me as a fractional CMO, as a little C consultant or coach, or as your video producer. I would love the opportunity to connect with you and talk with you to help you get further along down your path. And that's what I'm here for. This is my vocation, to educate you and to get started on video, to help you scale your video content, or to help you connect to your audience, to help you connect to your customers through video content and marketing strategies. That's my vocation. That's my passion. That's what I love to do. And I want to help you do that as best as I can. So don't feel free to reach out and have a conversation with me, or take a look at my website and find a time on the calendar that's going to work best for you. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. I went a little bit long, batching a few tangents. That's how it goes. I'm going to make a second part for repurposing. And I think this is going to help you creating content for your brand and business. These are the practices that I do in my business. This is how I help other brands scale their content. This is how I help other brands and businesses connect to their audiences through video content and marketing strategies. And I would love to help you out if the opportunity is there.